Looky, looky, I managed to actually get on the vacation for once.
Nope.
Remember that one time Mario went on vacation and then just left Luigi at home to do the dishes? What kind of parties do you think Luigi threw while Mario was on Isle Delfino?
All right, I'm not losing my mind. I did just hear Hotel Mario music.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
It's the Mario Brothers going over a grassy hill to a hotel. That had to have been intentional. You can't tell me that that little intro cut was not intentional on their part.
If you need help capturing ghosts, please check out EGAD's enclosed instruction book.
The digital enclosed instructions book, because we don't make
So this
those
is all
anymore.
a dream, right? Never in my life will I think Mario and Peach are going somewhere, and they actually thought to brought Luigi along.
Also, they're taking a bus.
I
Well,
love the fact
they
that
di-
they've got the Toad driving the bus, and since he can't reach the pedals, he drives like
here's the
terribly.
reason Luigi is long. It's because he's the one who got the invitation, and he invited them. So yeah.
Luigi probably would invite both of them and not realize that they're like doing it in the next room over. Like, Mario, Peach, you're being very loud wrestling. I'm trying to watch my soaps.
I do like that they keep in continuity with the previous games with the Polterpup tagging
Although,
along.
actually, if you remember the end of Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, Polterpup's lack of influence from the Dark Moon mean that his pupils came back, so this game is the worst game ever. Zero. I'm joking. That's my...
Everybody likes the pupilless pup, though.
Yeah, no, the having the pupils actually makes it less cute to me, so I guess science, I don't know. I'm not
They
here
just
to-
decided to ignore that.
Yeah.
He looks more ghostly without the pupils anyway.
Yeah, I think he looks cuter without them,
Well,
so...
cuter and more ghostly. Which
so both.
seem like they should be mutually exclusive, but one of my favorite things about the game is that when you first boot it up, it shows you this exact view of the hotel. And it always shows you this exact view of the hotel, but it's all golden and shiny before the game starts, and then it gets all haunted later on.
Yeah, when you load the game after that, it loads the haunted view of it, which
Yeah.
I thought was a cool touch.
So,
Illumination.
Same architects from the folks who made Rocko's Modern Life. Everything is slanted and crooked, but somehow it's functional.
Yeah. Illumination. When you're making the Mario movie, can you just rip these models, please?
Yeah, this game is really, really good looking, I will say.
It is
probably one of the better looking games on Switch.
Well,
I hear
it's
one of.
it's
So
not-
I have not played this game myself. At the time of this commentary, I hear it's one of the best Mario games in terms of presentation.
It is.
No, it is. It's not just the visuals; it's animation-wise as well, because the characters are
They have a
very true to Mario, but they're very exaggerated in how they move, which suits them very well because they're very cartoony.
the game is bursting, exploding even with personality, and I love it. It's one of the best games for Luigi in particular. He already had a lot of personality in the previous two Luigi's Mansion games, but they dial it to 12 here. Not just 11, 12, because they like to go one step beyond. But
One thing
Beyond that.
One thing that I also love about this game is not just, the visual presentation's obvious. One thing that you're not going to be able to hear as well, since you get to hear our lovely voices, instead is that they let Charles Martinet have a field day when they do Luigi's Mansion games now, which is great because they actually let him say like nearly full sentences sometimes. And so he's able to give Luigi a lot of charm that a lot of the mainline Mario games you're not really able to see. So like, he comments on what's going on and whatnot, and his vocal grunts are very exaggerated. And I love the masks that these guys are wearing. It's amazing.
The last resort.
ghosts
Wow.
wearing cheap dollar store Halloween masks.
What are you talking about? They are very real people.
Oh, you must be in California. Everyone's wearing Botox.
Listen, I know these are dire times, but you literally called the hotel the last resort. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Anyway,
Also, I'm surprised they were able to get away with calling the villain Helen Gravely. Like, how did that get by the ESRB?
the same way that Mara gets by Japanese censors. It's close, but it's not quite, so they can't really get on their asses about it.
We're well beyond the time period of Cruella de Vil. So
It's
is it really that?
embarrassingly long. It took me to realize that her name was Devil, as in devil. Like I was far too old to realize
Well, the whole
that.
name is just a wordplay on cruel devil.
Yeah, I know,
So
and it took me way too long to realize that. Don't rub it in.
In any case, the structural concept for this particular game is okay. People liked the varied levels in Dark Moon, but they also liked having one big structure to explore in the first Luigi's
Also,
Mansion.
instead of 8 Koopa hotels, we have 1 Boo hotel.
Yeah. So basically, we're gonna have one big mansion again, but every floor is going to be a level. We can have our cake and eat it too. Why are you telling me we can't?
I still say the structure of 1, I feel, is a little bit better.
Yeah, I'll say.
I
so.
mean, we'll talk about it more overall, but I agree. But I will say that this game is definitely an improvement over everything that Dark Moon did. Like, I think that it's just unquestionable that this is the better game
Yeah.
between the two. It's just, if you really wanted it to be like Luigi's Mansion 1, then you'll probably be disappointed because it's really not. It's Dark Moon 2 is
Essentially.
probably the most accurate way to put it.
Dark Moon
So-
2 with some of Luigi's Mansion 1's charm.
Yeah, I mean, they're still very different games, though, and it's easier to talk about when we get to the actual structure of the game, but it's fun. I don't want to sound like a sourpuss throughout this playthrough, because there is a lot of things about this game that are really, really good. It's just, for some reason, I couldn't really get into it, and I have trouble putting that into words why, because there's nothing really wrong with the game. Like, it looks great, it plays well, the charm is there, but for some reason I just couldn't, get immersed in it the same way I could with the original, and I have trouble bringing that to words.
It's the disjointed nature of the levels for the most part. Because when you're going from floor to floor, it feels very... This is level 1. This is level 2. Whereas Luigi's Mansion 1...
Felt a bit like a Resident
Felt
Evil
like-
game, in a way.
Yeah.
yeah, everything was one cohesive structure as if it was just a mansion.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Where-
that gave you a better sense of exploring progression as well as atmosphere.
Yeah. I suppose.
Jesus Christ, Luigi, why do you need a flashlight as big as your head?
So I remember Dark Moon trying to exemplify that, but my problem with Dark Moon is I'm pretty sure a lot of people's problem with it was that it was just too fucking long. Like, it was bloated as hell.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
game is also, I think, a little bit too long for its own good.
I thought we were playing Luigi's Mansion.
I don't know. I found it to be, just the right length for me, personally. But,
There are a few things I feel they should have cut because that feel like blatant padding, such as the Polter Kitty.
well, the Polter Kitty, yeah. The Polter Kitty can go to hell.
Oh, well, isn't it already dead though?
It can go to double hell.
I dealt with it
Don't-
quickly enough because I just happened to be good at it, I guess. But, at the same time, I might not have spent that much time on it, but it was the time I did spend on the Polter Kitty was annoying as hell.
So, I appreciate the fact that these ghosts, instead of just sneaking into Luigi's room and kidnapping him into the painting like they want, snuck into his room and put up a whole bunch of balloons. And then left for him to get kidnapped later.
All of that stuff, if you explore the room before it goes all ghostly, was already there, just in a different form. So
Yeah, I think that's just more an illusion thing that
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
someone went in there.
Yeah,
and
but
changed
I like the idea of all these ghosts sneaking to in his room and then placing balloons and then leaving.
We're gonna scare him and then capture him, right? No.
well,
I mean, it does beg the question of why did King Boo go for everyone else first?
because he doesn't.
he knows Luigi's the bigger threat to him.
Is this the same King Boo from the previous
Yeah, it
two
is.
games?
Yes, it is.
He wants to torment.
They
him
don't
first,
even
like,
try to hide it, because that was one thing about the Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon is that they try to make it this big mystery of, oh, what caused the Dark Moon to shatter? And they literally show King Boo in the first cutscene, like just a silhouette, but it's just like, who could it be? And it's like, in this game, they don't even bother. It's like, yeah, it's King Boo. Go beat him up.
Well, I like the idea behind this character, Helen Gravely, who's doing all of this to help King Boo, basically because she's a massive King Boo fangirl. But
Oh,
horny
when
on
we get to
May,
her
yes.
level later, like her final level, I thought that was really cool. too. Also, I love that you just get a sense of the like even Mario and Peach's personalities from their rooms, like how Mario has like 12 different pizza boxes lying on the ground in a complete mess, and how Princess Peach
Sorry.
bought like 12 different suitcases for all of her
Royal
dresses
Highness's
that look
matched
the
luggage.
same. It's just, I don't know, those are cute.
I hope the kitchen made lots of spaghetti.
So basically, the reason the ghosts are dicking with Luigi right now is because they know he doesn't have the poltergust right now, so he basically can't do anything against them. Unfortunately, they forgot to account for the layout of their own goddamn hotel and where the laundry chutes go.
Little did they know he's still more than capable of dealing with them through the power of eye contact.
And, Power Stars.
In some of the games, you can just straight up punch them. I don't know why that's
or
not an
ground pound
option.
them.
Get it?
Puns.
Scream? Because this is a horror game for 5-year-olds?
If you're looking for more pizza, your brother kinda ate them all.
Well, you don't have a ghost of a chance of getting out of here. Ha. Ha.
Lady, are you really sure about that haircut? I mean, I wouldn't be caught dead with that do, personally.
These puns are killing me.
I don't think
Better strap in, guys. There's only so many ghost-related puns we can do.
ghosts can change their hair though, so she's stuck with it.
Oh, so wait. So you're saying that if I die with a perm, I'm stuck with that for my entire afterlife?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, that changes things.
God, man, I was never a big fan of King Boo's, like, ass brow. Like, it's literally just an ass on his face.
That gives a whole new meaning to the word butthead.
It's meant to give the appearance of a sort of corrugated forehead of the sort that you'd see on, like, Gordon Ramsay or something. You see a similar effect on, like, classic Final Fantasy VII Hojo. But, yeah.
For some reason, the Boo designs in Dark Moon and Luigi's Mansion 3, I don't really jive with them as much. Like,
They're too solid.
I don't mind that in, like, the normal Mario games when they look more solid. And I suppose there's no reason why it shouldn't work in these games because they're trying to go more cartoon.
It's because the other ghosts are translucent.
Yeah, I guess. So, yeah, I really like the way they looked in the first game.
Marvel at our physics engine.
Dude, they were so proud of their physics engine with the amount of crap you can do with it in this game.
Oh, yeah.
They're just showing off. It's kind of like Pixar, actually. You can tell when they made a new technology because they spend the entire movie showing it off.
You mean like Sully with his fur?
Or Brave with whose
The
its
hair.
face's hair. It's just like, we spent $500,000 on this engine, and we're gonna show it off. God damn it! That's basically what what Pixar says every time they do that.
Man, I like how the hotel just looks like fucking Tartarus from Persona 3. Like,
That's the most insane Jenga tower I've ever seen in my life.
It's not. This isn't my third mansion. I still only have the one.
This isn't even a mansion; it's a hotel.
Like a-
Luigi's Hotel, I guess, doesn't roll off.
Yeah,
the
it's
tongue.
not even
Hotel
can't come to
Luigi.
Mansion 3. It should be Hotel Luigi. Like its own spin-off of a spin-off.
I'm surprised they didn't go for the Eagles reference though.
Anyway, yeah, the levels, the floors really, really are segmented off into levels because you start in the basement and you're not necessarily climbing upward in order the entire time, but every floor you go to takes up your time until you're finished with it, basically.
I mean, sort of. One of the things when I first started this game that surprised me is that for the first hour or two of the game, you do jump around between basement floor 1 and 2 a good bit, which made me actually really excited that there was going to be. I thought that there was going to be more interplay between the floors than I originally thought.
Yeah, once you're done with floor 5, it gets very linear.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, granted, there's nothing wrong with the game being linear, and I think this game, to its credit, does use its structure to create interesting puzzle rooms. But it's just a question of what do you want out of the game. And if you're okay with it being linear, then I think it is a really, really fun experience. Just because there's a lot of creativity. It's just the beginning of the game teased me into thinking that it might have been closer in structure to the original, which made it, once it did start becoming more linear, I was a little bit disappointed, I guess.
To be fair, I mean, as far as that comparison goes, a lot of the Resident Evil-ish feel of Luigi's Mansion 1 was a pretty skin-deep impression, because your progression through the mansion was itself very railroady.
Yes,
So,
it was. That's true.
Yeah,
and it's part of the reason why I find myself conflicted on the comparison.
Yeah, it was more of it induced a feeling of exploration more than it had real exploration.
I think that's just how it's presented.
Yeah.
Because again, you're walking around a single area that you have cohesive.
This is the most
Visual
adorable
confirmation that how
tutorial
things
I've
work.
ever seen in my life.
It's more organic.
Yeah.
In the sense of exploring a mansion where a hotel is clearly segmented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that, I mean, what do you blame? The game design or the building that it's in?
Well, I mean, I assume that I mean, I'm not sure. There's two ways that the hotel setting could have come about. Either they started with the hotel and the floor-by-floor levels came from that, or they designed a bunch of levels that they thought were fun and then thought how they were going to be able to stitch them together, and the hotel structure came from there. I guess we wouldn't know unless if we talk to Next Level Games, who, by the way, are an extremely underrated developer, I might add.
Yeah, I wish they would get more
made this?
more high-profile Nintendo franchises.
I mean, Luigi's Mansion probably is the most high-profile thing they've done. But
Yeah, but I still wouldn't say that's the A-tier franchise.
yeah, but I mean, like the Mario soccer games are phenomenal. I'm not
Punch-Out!!
I'm not personally a huge Punch-Out! Fan, but I know that people who do love Punch-Out! Love that game.
Also, it was those guys. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that would
Also,
explain the facial details.
they also did Metroid Prime Federation Force, which I know a lot of people hate just for existing, but the game itself is actually pretty good.
game is
Better
fine,
than
yeah.
it has any right to be, actually. So,
The game itself is fine. It was just horrible timing.
yeah, no, the game came out at the absolute wrong time. I agree.
Now, the game at this point is giving you free roam to try out the vacuum and all that. I would recommend getting used to using the shoulder buttons for most of its functions.
Oh, yeah, that was something that I didn't figure out for a while. For one thing, the game doesn't really like control like Luigi's Mansion 1. Like, you have to tilt the right stick in the direction you want it to face, as opposed to being able to kind of use it somewhat tank control style like the original, which isn't a problem. It just takes some getting used to.
It's
But
just you have a lot more functions with this compared to One or Dark Moon, so it's easier to keep your thumbs on the sticks and just get used to using the shoulder buttons for everything.
yeah, like I didn't originally know that there was an option to use the light and the plunger shot with the shoulder buttons. I thought that they were just face buttons, and it makes aiming and doing those things at the same time difficult. But once you realize that those are also on the shoulder buttons, then yes, it becomes a lot easier to handle what you're doing. I also want to applaud that I like the motion aiming in this as well, because again, one of the things about the motion controls is that it allows you, when used subtly like this, to just give you another axis to aim the vacuum on, which isn't, it's not obtrusive and it's precise. So I really liked how that works. I would, however, not recommend playing it in handheld mode like I did, because sometimes the game will get confused about where the center is, and then suddenly you're like staring at the ceiling trying to get it to aim the way you want it to, because it doesn't remember where neutral is. So
I think there is a function to reset neutral, but
There always is. It's just
yeah, it's just
it's
Yeah.
an annoying byproduct of just playing in that mode.
Splatoon 2 also has the issue as well, which is why I can't ever play Splatoon 2 in handheld either.
now, okay. One of the things that does indeed carry over from Luigi's Mansion 1 is that the more money you have at the end of the game, the better the building that you can build. with your funds at the end. The
Which is very easy in this
Yeah,
game, to be perfectly honest with you.
How much do you need to get the A rank? Because I ended with, I think, like 60K, and I didn't...
I
Or
am
600?
not.
600,000, I think actually,
I
I don't
am.
remember.
I am not sure. Ultimately, it's a pretty easy mark to reach if you're just casually exploring everything.
Well, I only got B rank.
Oh, you
is
got
the
B
thing.
rank? No, I
Yeah.
got A rank, and I wasn't even trying.
Yeah, hold on. Let me take a look.
I mean, were you spending money in the shop, which you really shouldn't be doing?
Oh, I was apparently just under it. It's 70,000 in order to get the A rank, and I was like 68 or something like that. I
Ouch.
did spend a little bit of money on the shop, but that's just because I couldn't find all the gems, and so I wanted to find all the gems, and I would rather use what the game gives me as opposed to look it up in a guide.
Yeah.
That's separate.
I get you.
Although I did end up using a guide for a couple of things anyway, because some of the stuff is a little obtuse.
I spent money on one just to see how helpful it was, and it wasn't really like at all.
It narrows down the search, which is the most important thing, because it'll put a marker...
Only so much. Sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's not, depending on what gem it is.
Yeah, but at the very least, you know, okay, it is in this room, and so you don't have to be looking around every individual room.
Which doesn't help you if it's that big pyramid open area, and you're just like, well, fuck me, right?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I literally vacuumed up all the sand in that room, so I found
I
everything.
did too my first time.
Yeah. I vacuumed probbly everything I
never
could
know.
in this game.
Well, more like I didn't expect the switch to open that to be literally right to the left of the door. So I'm like, it must be a hidden thing to open it. And I'm like, okay, it's probably hidden in the sand somewhere. It's like, nope.
Is this your first
No, it's actually-
playthrough or second?
Nope,
Ryan?
second.
Second, okay.
Yeah, I'm actually going to compliment that. There's actually something a little unnerving about seeing the character portraits with the black crosses across their faces.
One
Oh no, I can't possibly open a window.
one thing they definitely inherited from Dark Moon, though, is the kooky, spooky ghosts.
I do miss the ones from the original game a bit,
Yeah.
though.
I mean, it's weird. It feels like there's less variety of the ghosts in this game, even though there's really not. Because if you go back to the first game, when you look at the standard mooks, there's like...
There's four
Maybe
different varieties.
Yeah.
Oh, no, there's the four kind of regularish ones, and there's the two grabby ones.
Yeah, but it's about the same amount. But for some reason, it feels like there's less variety to me, even though there really isn't. And I'm not really sure why that is. I think it might just be because the game takes a lot longer to introduce the other kinds. Because you're
Also,
stuck
they
with
don't.
just these ones for a good bit.
Also, they don't really mix the ghost types a lot.
That's also true, yeah. It's not until the very end of the game where you're dealing with the standard blue guys and also some of the yellow ones that throw things and a red guy at the same time.
Yeah, that was Luigi's Mansion 3 Part 1. We'll see you guys for Part 2. Yay.